I'm doing the stitch and style for Belinda shortly, then we move to the discussion. Interviews maybe are one of the most important things you love to prepare most for. So there are 3 things that we advise you don't do when you have an interview. 1, don't wear jeans. When you have a formal interview, don't wear jeans. Don't consider, like when you even trying, when you look into your wardrobe, don't consider wearing jeans. I mean, if it's for a casual event or anything, please don't wear jeans. And number 2, avoid loud patterns and colors. Avoid loud patterns and colors. You know, it so that it doesn't take the panel's mind from what they have to ask you to looking at what you're actually wearing and all that, so they don't tap more from you. So avoid loud patterns and colors. And number 3, please don't wear sandals when you are going for interviews. Don't wear sandals. Yes, it is not the time to show that you've done pedicure or manicure. No. So please don't wear sandals when you are going for interviews. My name is Nino and I did stitch and style for Belinda. Stay tuned for the discussion. Alright, you're welcome back to the Christian Entertainment TV show. Yes, this is now my segment. You're welcome back to the show. My name is Nino and the WhatsApp line is 050-143-2820. 050-143-2820. Today we are discussing, should churches pay musicians? Or you know them best as instrumentalists, but they are musicians. Should churches pay them? Last week we asked that a very important question, and it was a banter when the phone calls came. Reverend Manasseh said, no, if the church called the gospel artists, they shouldn't pay. Some other people say, why should you call gospel artists and you shouldn't pay? So I'm going to open the phone lines for you in the last 10 or 15 minutes to the show. And so last week, Christiana said brand positioning was important for the artists, so that the church will see that the person they are calling, has a brand niche. So they have to put their money where their mouth is. Thank you very much, Kwesi. Kwesi will join us today too. But before Kwesi joins us, that man always comes late. Before Kwesi joins us, I have. Should I start from the fire? Okay. I have Pastor Randolph. Pastor Randolph is a pastor at ICGC Nungwa.
I'm assistant.
Sorry, assistant pastor ICGC Nungwa. He's a producer at Remnant Studios, a family counseling expert.
Yes.
Okay. Yes, and he knows music well, and he's a technical head for Akase Benpon Ministries. Pastor, you're welcome.
Thank you, Nino.
Are you ready?
I'm here.
People will ask you questions.
No problem.
Okay, so you have your whether we should pay or not. You have your.
Oh yeah, I have my son. I have my son.
So that's Pastor Randolph. And joining Pastor Randolph, I know when I put this up, a lot of people were saying it's been long we saw this guy. I mean, he's gone to hide it. Actually, when we're on radio, he can come and bash it. Charlie, the course will get. You come for like 1 month, then you come back and come and bash again. And the station, boss, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And the station is a how do I describe him? Help me. He's a renowned bassist. Everybody knows him in the industry. He was playing for the late Danny Netti. He played for a while for Neo Kai. Please, who have you two played for? Let me know. Akasi. Okay, so he said he hasn't played for Akasi. That means he's played for everyone. And it's a welcome. This is the first time you're seeing on TV.
Yes.
So you're welcome. It's glad to be here. Please, I beg you to be. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Ernest, do you play for your church?
Yes.
You play for your church?
Thank
What
you.
church?
Royal House Chapel.
Royal House Chapel, Ahimfie.
Yes.
So, do they pay you?
No.
Do you think they should pay you?
No.
You don't think they should pay you?
No.
Okay. Pastor,
Yes.
you don't play
Sometimes I do play.
for your church?
Yeah, in church.
Keys or
Keys, of course.
keyboard?
Mm.
So, okay, you say sometimes, but those who play regular, they pay them in your church.
Yeah, they do. They are paid.
Okay, so all ICGC churches do, or your assembly?
I can't say for all ICGC, but I know most of them.
They pay them?
Yeah.
So that's their full-time job?
Some are on part-time, some of them too are on full-time.
Some of them are full-time. Okay. Okay. So what do you think? Should we pay them?
I'm watching you to take a cue. Well, it's a yes and no. Okay.
Okay, why do you pay them in your church?
Number one, let me go on the yes. Let me start from, I want to find out who a musician is. Okay. If we talk about who a musician is, there are various definitions that says that one of them is a musician is any person or anyone who plays an instrument. Very simple definition. But I like how the Cambridge Dictionary puts it. It says that a person who plays an instrument and especially has it as a job. So once the job factor comes in, then it implies something calling for a payment system. You understand? Because if somebody is being seen as a professional instrumentalist or musician, then it means that a person may live on that art or on that scale. So there's a need for churches to look at that sort of a person and pay the person. And so in our context, I think that's why we pay them.
That's why you pay them. Okay. So the no.
No, because there are some people who are not, in quote, professional musicians.
What?
Where the professional musician means that they may come to church just like a normal church member who comes on Tuesday service, Bible study, come on a Sunday and a Saturday to come and rehearse. You understand? Sometimes they are even born into the church and pay their relationship with the pastor or the church. Sometimes it doesn't demand for payment, which most of the time is their own decision not to get paid. You understand? So it falls on that side.
You mean it's a musician's decision?
Decision not to get paid.
Okay.
You understand? And I'm sure probably if you ask Ernest, I'm sure it is
It's his decision.
yeah, not to get paid.
Okay, I'll come back to you with some questions. But the same question: do you think they should pay you?
In my church?
Yes.
No.
Do they pay the other musicians?
They pay some of them.
Okay, so you decided not to.
Not necessarily. Apart from the fact that it's a personal decision I took. I look at this particular issue as a chicken and egg situation. Okay. Those who call themselves musicians, are they musicians? That's the first question. And then the churches who are supposed to take care of these musicians, do they regard the musicians as musicians? So those are the two sides. The churches are not paying because it is only that ministry that they see as ministry.
The musicians ministry.
Yes. For the musicians ministry is a free ministry. That's invariably the church's position. Not all of them anyway.
Okay.
So if you play an instrument, it is the gift from God. But if you preach, it's not a gift from God. So pastors must be taken care of. Musicians shouldn't be. So that is one side. The other side is those who call themselves musicians. Are they musicians in the first place? That's one. Number two, do they have the availed time to serve that purpose for which they demand payment? Because even in the corporate environment, you must first have value for the people to even employ you. And so you go through interviews. How many of the musicians go through interviews? There's no criteria for selection. Once you can press it, you sit by it. And then once you press it a little, you demand payment. Who should pay you for? What value? So we should rather look at the value you put on the table that commensurates the demand you are making for remuneration.
So are you saying that some of the people, you also said it's a decision. So the other guys playing at Royal House that they are not being paid. You think they don't have a value? They don't have any value?
You see, Royal House situation is quite peculiar. Why? Because we have a number of musicians. but the church has made it a decision to pay a certain number.
Okay.
And those are called the full-timers.
Oh,
So they go to church not only when there's church service.
so they go from morning.
Yes, once there's demand for your service, you are there. If there's a funeral
You have to.
and you must appear, you will appear.
Okay.
But me, I make a choice on which ones I can appear on. And for that reason, I don't qualify to be paid.
Paid. Oh, okay.
So musicians who cry foul that, oh, but the pastors are being paid, but they get up in the morning and go to work. Where do they go to work at? Church. Whether there's a service or not. Musicians only appear when there's a rehearsal and when there's church service.
When Friday service.
So in my opinion, I even feel that they should prorate the monies they're asking for. So they do, I mean, hourly rate. So once you appear, you play. And even that, you must first qualify as a musician. And so we have a lot of zealous players who, in quote, refer to themselves as musicians who demand payments they don't qualify for. Because the pastor is just making do with you because we don't have. Not because what you are playing brings anointing.
Yes.
But because you just must hear somewhere in the background. So, you get my
Yeah, I
point.
get it.
So the value part musicians don't really have. Let's even term them instrumentalists. They don't have the value, most of them.
What's the difference?
The difference is
Oh, the show
why
that is
would-
somebody who sits inside they just come and do the ring.
no, it is like there's traffic, and one of the drivers gets down to go and conduct. That is not his job. He doesn't work at MTTU.
So that's the instrumentalist.
That's an instrumentalist. But when a policeman comes or an MTTU person comes to stand there,
Profession.
that is his job.
That's the
He wears the right uniform, conducts himself as such. So the instrumentalist will come to church and there's a wedding and he's wearing Lacoste. A musician will come to church and there's a wedding and he's wearing suit and tie.
Yeah.
Because he values the job he does. And he knows that he goes with certain do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
So the person in Lacoste, irrespective of how skillful you are, you have not really put together the value to demand a remuneration. And you come as and when you like. The musician doesn't do that. The musician will come because it's the job. And even your pastors will take you serious once you have a certain posturing. But most people don't do that. And for me, I don't understand why we seem to be empathizing with them and say, I'm a musician, yes. If Akase Brimpo should call me, he will call me as a musician. And if he calls a rehearsal at 6, I'll be there at 5:30. Why? Because I must set up to wait for him for the rehearsal.
Okay.
So when I'm coming and Akase Brimpo calls me and he says, Ernest, I want you to come and play for me. The first thing we do is, boss, how much? Why? Because he values first my talent and my profession as a musician on the side. But if he gets a church boy who plays in an instrument as an instrumentalist, say, Yanko, you don't need to
ask.
No, because your value hasn't gotten to the place where you must make demands. Let me just put it bluntly. People have not gotten to the point where they must make demands for remuneration. Because what are they paying you for?
Okay, so I'm sure by this time you've called your instrumentalist or musicians to tune in. I'm sure by this time you're done requiring rehearsals, so you can watch it on Facebook, or you've called your music pastor or your resident pastor to tune in. But Opoku Ajimaisana wrote something about this same topic in August 2018. He said, should churches pay their musicians? He said, it makes so much sense to pay a person for service rendered. And I guess it will make much more sense to put church members on payroll. Well, that remains most church members' plea. However, every church has a different view on this based on differences in policies, doctrines, structures of the scriptures. Some see it as a sign of loyalty and a privilege for musicians to even touch the church's instruments. So why pay musicians? Others see remuneration of musicians as a way of encouraging and appreciating talent and hard-earned skills. Some even go as far as providing accommodation and educational scholarships up to university for their musicians. Whichever way you look at it, it boils down to church differences and different understanding of pastors, church leaders and their doctrines. Fellow musicians, don't get caught up in this controversial topic, which started in the days of King Solomon. The truth is, some pastors will understand, others won't. Don't waste your time arguing over this topic. You can quote all the scriptures in the Bible to support your argument, but don't expect mindsets to change. Guess what? The same scriptures provide different sentiments and understandings for everyone. If you want to do church business, it's okay, but look for a church that pays and relocates. If, for example, your current church doesn't believe or cannot afford to pay its musicians, two things you have to consider. You either search and move to a new church that pays musicians, or stay in that same non-paying church with no complaint, but still find another job. That's what Opoku Agyeman Sada wrote. Opoku Agyeman is also a renowned bassist. He's the CEO of Bass Factory. He's been doing a bass clinic for a long while, and his views are very, very important to this discussion. So do you agree with him? The two suggestions he gives.
As in moving on.
Move on to a church that will pay you, or stay there, shut up, and look for another job to pay you.
Well, I have a different opinion anyway. Just taking it from where he left off. If there was a scenario, there's a case that happened, a real life one. These were instrumentalists in church. They had a team. They met together and decided that they want to go and see the pastor for a raise. I'm sure they were being paid around between 700,000 Ghana cedi as at that time.
They were being paid.
They were being paid, and they are even asking for a raise. So they handled the meeting, went to the pastor and spoke to him that, Eja, we have been playing for years. He said, 7, that's where we are. We want a raise. And I'm answering that question with that story.
Yeah.
And the pastor asked them that since the time they've been here in the church, who amongst them have gone ahead to do a diploma even in music? Or
since he started paying them?
Yes, since he started paying them. He didn't say he won't pay them, and he never said so, because he had already started paying them, but they went for a raise. So he asked that if you want a raise, show me your certificates. Show me something that shows that you are developing yourself. So this thing that Sana is saying, my view is neither here nor there. I mean, you can't just move. If you move and you don't have anything to back it up.
I'm sure he's trying to say that you are a musician. Per our definition today.
Okay. So we are thinking he's
improved on your skill.
Okay, and he has everything.
Perfect. Like Ernest.
Yes, of course. I mean, look, if you want to move from churches to churches, then you become a church prostitute. You understand?
Yeah, but he's looking for where they'll pay him to fit in, because he's a musician. He's not an instrumentalist. So he's looking for where to fit in. So you go with the second one. So just keep quiet there. Look for a job and
that is if you love the church.
Okay.
You see, this matter is very, very sensitive.
But so at what point do we classify?
It depends on how the person entered the church.
At what point do we classify the musician or instrumentalist as, okay, this is my church, this is where I fellowship, and this is business? At what point, if you are paying them or if you are demanding payment, at what point do you draw that line?
No, that line is not really drawn by the pastor. It's drawn by the individual, the musician. So now, I mean, here is a church. I come into the church. I'm playing. How did I enter the church? That's the first thing. It matters. Was I called to come and play instrument, or the church was there? I entered there as a member first, and then as I was sitting down, I realized they need help. So I went in. So like Ernest goes to a church. They don't even know him as a musician. Okay, then he realized, okay, I can do something. So he goes up there to do it. He has decided to do that. So at that time, it will be very difficult for him to say, they are not paying me, so I'm going. If he wants to go, he will go for a different reason, not for that one. So that's the whole thing. But we don't want to sit here and encourage people leaving churches because of money, because that is not the whole thing we are talking about here. You understand? Yeah. But I know people who are professional musicians who play in churches and don't take money, but they play other stuff and they are fine. Yeah, they take money.
Okay. And you're about to say something.
See, I think the problem is when it comes to church, we attach emotions and spirituality and
To
all
it.
those things to it. But if you put those ones, forgive me, but the word of God will always say, but you can't separate the two. But we should be able to. The God that we are serving is an orderly God. What does orderly mean? Orderly means doing things properly. And sometimes even your own children, you beat them. It doesn't mean you don't love them. You love them. But at that particular point in time, you put emotions aside and you put corrective measures in place. Musicians are crying for money. Once money comes into the situation, it becomes more of corporate life than spirituality. So what am I paying for? What you are giving me, is this something I should pay for? And I like the point he made. Entrance. How did you enter the church? Did you advertise that you were a keyboardist? And the pastor called you and said, oh, I saw your advert, or somebody recommended you to me, and so I want you to come play, and you negotiated. Or you were just moving about and you saw a church and you entered. And you feel, oh, okay, I can play, so you go and sit down and play. Your value would make the pastor want to come and now sit with you and say, oh, as for the value you are adding to this, my church, I think we should speak. And so I know how to keep you. And so my message to the musicians is that give the men of God or the church the reason to not want to lose you. And stop demanding, because what are you demanding for? That's my point. If you don't come to church on Sunday, will church happen? Will they miss you? If they don't miss you, you don't have value. No matter how skillful you think you are. If they don't see, in the corporate environment, if you don't come to work and your boss doesn't look for you, you should be advising yourself. You should be looking for a new job. Because it means that the job can run without you.
It can replace you.
He made an example of those who went to see the pastor and said they wanted a raise. Apart from even the qualification to get a raise, have you transformed the choir? Have the singers become better? Has the music in the church grown? For the pastor to say, oh, something has changed.
But you see, someone will also say,
yes,
like you said earlier on, we pay you so that will be your full-time job. Come Monday morning, report to work at 9. Increase your skill. Just play together. Let the bonding be well. I'll look for people for you to train you. Like because I know ICGC does that to the Accra Symphony Orchestra. They go to work at 9 a.m. They put them in one room. Full time. They just play chords. Then 5 p.m. they close. They go home. But don't you think probably musicians should look at it from that way? But we don't pay you for you to go and sit home, then come out on Tuesday and come and play.
If you remember, that's why I said you can't eat your cake and have it. The musicians in Kodemi, I even have a problem with the word musician. The musicians in Code, they want to demand for money, but they don't want to render the service for the money. So I can play, I'm skillful, but I'm never on time. You get the point? Why should I pay for somebody who doesn't come on time? I'm skillful, so
I not pay for the person who come on time.
No, yes, so that I'm not paying. So now when you decide when you want to come, and for example, myself, if I don't appear to church on time,
no one can question
it is my own judgment, my own conscience, and my God. Nobody will call me.
Not paid.
Nobody will call me and say, "Where are you?" Where are you comes in when somebody has ownership.
Yes.
And ownership has to do with exchange of money. So if you want to play for, I can say, follow Joe Metal somewhere, move around.
If the gig is 5, you have to be there at 5.
So you see, and you're a musician, that's fine. So do that one and come to church quietly. But you don't do that one when you come and play in church and you come at 9 when church service starts at 8. You want the pastor to be paying you and you are asking for raise. I don't think anybody who is not full-time should be paid. It might sound controversial, but that is my stance.
Okay, I have some views. Someone said, hello, I'm Pastor Minta Ebenezer from SEM, about paying instrumentalists or musicians. In the olden days, instrumentalists follow the man of God or play for the church for the anointing. But nowadays, people play for money and fame. Thank you, Pastor. I have another one. Payment of instrumentalists should be defined by themselves. Some see it as a calling and some as a job. If they define it as a job, then their service Their services require 24/7, and if it's a calling, they must be devoted to that call. And you and the church define how the gifts should be devoted, because every calling has its divine devotions. My name is Kweku. If they define it as a job, they should be paid, and if they define it as a calling or gift, they shouldn't be paid. Thank you very much, Kweku. I have another one here. Okay, just keep sending your comments. Keep sending your comments to 05014322820. Later on in the show, I'm going to take your phone calls, and I'm going to ask Pastor Redolph something. So, Pastor, is it advisable when you're starting a new branch? For instance, where you are now, they make you go to a new branch and you go and start it. Is it also advisable from your side as a pastor? When you're starting a new branch, you do posters or creatives. I'm looking for musicians, you know, to pay them. So you employ these. Is it advisable to do that?
Like you're saying, you are a new branch. You've been sent to start a local branch of a main church. Depending on the philosophy of the pastor and whoever is in charge.
Let's say it's now God has given you a call. You're starting your own church. You're starting your own church.
I wouldn't do that.
Why?
Even though I know.
But you believe they should pay musicians?
Yes, but you are starting. Okay, it's not like something that is established already.
But music is a key element of starting churches.
Yes, I wouldn't do that. Probably I have my own ways of handling my music in my church. You know, as a starter, you understand. But definitely, if I get to a point where I want the music of the church to be lifted to another high standard, I know what to do. You understand? Like Ernest was discussing something today. The taste of pastors and the taste of music in church is high. Okay, I visited some churches about a month ago. We play trap in church. If you're a musician in a church like that and you don't know what is trap, how are you going to play?
How are you going to play? Yes.
You understand? So it's not that normal kumcha thing that we are doing now. So yeah, the standard of music keeps on revolving, keeps on changing. Therefore, it calls for a kind of a higher standard and a taste within the church setup. When you are in that category, like I don't mention church's name, but we know the churches that does music on a higher level. If you go to those churches,
I'll mention some names.
Royal House,
yes, like ICGC,
Lighthouse. You understand?
Yes.
Such churches, some of them even have musicians who write songs for the church.
Yeah.
So if you leave that person and you say you are not paying that person, so the person should go and do his banking job and come back. What time is he going to get to write songs for you? What time is he going to get to rehearse on the piano? What time is he going to get to teach the choir to come and sing? I mean, for you, you understand? So if you see, this is how I would draw the line. If we want that perfection as God wants in the church, that perfection, that excellent way of doing things in church, then it calls for a certain thing called love offering. If maybe the word payment is scaring people,
so we should call it love offering.
Maybe love offering. Whatever you do, there should be something that goes to somebody.
To the musician.
You understand? Yeah. And I don't know if you permit me to read this scripture for you. And
we're waiting for the scripture.
I know. I want to be off. I don't
waiting for the scripture.
And there is a scripture in Numbers 18:21. It says that to the sons of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel for an inheritance in return for their service, which they perform. He's using two serious words: service and which they perform. The service of the tent of meeting. And then watch this, 18:24. Says that for the tithe of the sons of Israel, which they offer as an offering to the Lord, I have given to the Levites. Second time, for an inheritance. Therefore I have said concerning them, they shall have no inheritance among the sons of Israel. Let me read the last one. Nehemiah 13:10. Yes. 13. It says that I also discovered that the portions of the Levites had not been given them. Underline that if the Bible is yours and you didn't borrow. So that the Levites and the singers who performed a second time, the service had gone away. Watch this. Each to his own field. What field? Let me finish.
Yeah, then.
So I reprimanded the officials and said, "Why is the house of God forsaken?" Then I gathered them together and restored them to their posts. Now, in a very simple term, Levites, you saw the word Levites there. They are in a very simple term. I don't want to go much into it.
Simple, just simple.
Simple term.
We'll bring him off it today.
They were the core people separated for the ministry work, who minister at the altar.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if we talk about the altar stretches from the pulpit to the main stage. Who are the people who sit on the stage? Who are the people? In some churches, by design, instrumentalists are left or right.
Yes.
Singers stand behind the pastor. So these are the Levites and the singers.
So per definition,
they are all part and partakers of what needs to be. Yeah.
But the first one you read in Numbers.
Yeah, in Numbers.
Read it again. I want to ask a question there.
The first one.
Yeah, the first one you read it.
To the sons of Levi, behold, I have given all the tithe in Israel. Is that the
Yes,
one?
right.
For an inheritance in return for their service, for which they perform.
So why don't we pay ashes? Why don't we pay the traffic wardens? Why don't we pay all of them?
If you really want this program to go on.
But you can easily answer that.
You can easily answer that.
I can easily answer. No,
I mean, you can provide an answer.
Answer for that, yeah.
No, so what's the answer? Because someone does ushering.
Simple scenario.
Someone does ushering for events.
Simple,
and takes
yes,
pays
simple,
money.
yes. Those who do ushering for events, are they professionals or not?
Yeah, they do professional service. They take their money.
No,
I was waiting for the Bible part to come.
Yes.
So
Now it is
Numbers, right?
That's it.
What does it say? Service, underlying words.
Service and
perform.
perform.
And performance.
Yes.
And I always like to liken it to the corporate world.
Yes.
Effort is not performance. So underline that one. We'll come back to it.
If the book is yours.
Effort is not performance.
Yeah.
Performance is delivery. So if you come on stage and you've lost your voice and you are a Akasibre,
You shouldn't
and
pay.
you don't sing,
You shouldn't
you
pay.
shouldn't be paid.
You didn't deliver.
Because you were ready to offer your service, but there was no performance.
No, so
So that is effort. Now let me answer your question.
yeah, answer my question.
When you get to church
Yes.
and the ushers are not there, will the people still sit?
That's it.
You say it anyway.
If you get to church and the protocol people are not there, will the people still sit?
Yes.
Will there be church service?
Yes, the witcher service.
If the keyboard is left there and the musicians don't come to church, will somebody play?
No, but you're not being
No,
fair.
don't say no. Will somebody play?
Nobody will play. Nobody
Why?
will play. Because that's their job.
No, because it demands a certain
skill.
skill that you don't get over.
Like you did a definition for instrumentalist and musician.
I'm coming to a
Anybody
point.
too can be an usher.
No.
But there are people that that's their job they do.
No, you see, but you
Specifically
see,
trained
even
to
in
do
you see,
ushering,
and
customer
my
care,
challenge
and
is
ushering.
I always move it to the corporate side. See, in the corporate world, everybody's not paid the same.
Yes.
Why?
No, but everybody is paid anyway.
But we all go 8 to 5.
But everybody is paid anyway.
The security man
The
stands
gate man.
from 8 to 5.
But everybody is paid.
But but the point is, gets money that you wouldn't want to take. Hold on. So values in an environment might differ. I am not an advocate for the fact that you shouldn't pay ushers. But if you call a plumber to come and do something in church,
Don't pay.
and he's a member, he still will pay him.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me,
If you don't pay, if you buy the thing that you used to,
and-
you put the body.
But you see, can you call any person to go and do the plumbing job?
No.
No. So once it demands a certain level of skill, and that is how come you could say that people have ushering companies, right?
Yes.
They offer a specific kind of service, and they have the skill for it, and they have put value on it,
Trained.
and people pay for it. Why do they pay for that? They could as well call some young ladies around to come and do the
Come
ushering,
and do the usher.
but they will pay for promptness, quality service, orderliness,
Customer care.
dressed well, customer service. Those are the things people pay for. So you can call two musicians and one is taking more than the other, but you don't tell them.
So if I go to church and I say, okay, I want to be an usher.
Yes.
I do this for other, or I do customer care, customer experience
Corporate.
for other corporate entities. I demand a salary. What
You can't demand the salary.
You see, that is where I.
But why you
no,
not
that's why
decide to?
I will move away
Why
from it.
you?
That's why I move.
Why you move
That's why I
away
move away from it. If you are a professional athlete, you should demand it.
That is what I'm saying.
But demand is not supply.
Okay, let me read some messages. Appreciate their efforts. That's the Olajo Afejo. Olajo is the Christian Musicians Association. And Peter Sergio, the CEO for the National Gospel Music. It's a very deep question, but let me keep mute. Carl Clote says, for the benefit of the church to have musicians happy and willing to provide their best, they should pay. And music in itself is a career. Why can't it be practiced in church? Okay, that's Carl Clote. Aku Sika said on Facebook, since when did God prohibit the prosperity of his children? People don't even know their benefits. A child of God. So the people of the world should continue taking over the things God created for us. I didn't see all of that, so I have a lot. Churches have been the biggest employers of these musicians, and are being poached here and there by other churches. There is almost no job for them in the secular world. It should also be noted that quality music is now on high demand in most of these churches. This has made them very necessary evils and calls for them to be respected. I believe they must be paid. Uncle Ben, thank you very much, Uncle Ben. There's another one here by Kelvin Asari Sintim from Ablekuma Family. Well, if the musician wants to be paid, there should be a legal agreement between the church and whoever he or she is. If he or she hasn't demanded any payment and yet plays a key role, motivation shouldn't be neglected. Okay, thank you very much, Kelvin. I have another one here. I want to read that one shortly. By the next 10 or 15 minutes, I'll take your call. So just keep watching. I have another one here. I want to read that one before we go on. Okay, it's still loaded. So the WhatsApp line is 0501432820. The topic is getting interesting, and today Ernest is trying to take his position by messing people up, and But I mean, I'm going to take your phone call soon. So, Pastor.
Yes.
Coming back to your numbers, you are saying you are saying that we should separate the two situations.
Yeah.
And you even went ahead and did the definition of Levites.
Yes.
Where the Levites sit.
Yeah.
Because the usher doesn't sit there. But everybody is important in the church. From the guy that helps you park your car to the greeter outside,
traffic managers, the gatekeeper.
Now media people. Media people in churches are professional media people. Those who do the projector things are professional media people. And Sunday or Tuesday evening they come and help you and all of that. They all help for the church service to run. So why you take it out only them? Why don't we pay everyone? Pay the scripture.
You see, Bible works with principles, and it works with definitions, and when they are defined, it works within a certain perimeter. You understand? So if we are saying that per what we are discussing, the Levites or the people who ministers at the altar that helps the priest in worship and in service to the altar, basically we are talking about a limited number of people. You understand? And don't forget that Levites come from that Levitical order. It's a whole family. You understand? So it's not like a Kobo something. It's not everybody. Everybody cannot be on payroll. Number one, everybody cannot be on payroll.
Put the musician to
but the point is that he asked a question.
Yes.
And I want to repeat that. If you enter the church today, okay, and the traffic managers don't come to church, will people park their cars?
Yeah, but when you are going, when you close from church and you are going, you suffer before you.
But we will go anyway.
No, but you suffer before you.
No, but we will go.
But you agree that you suffer before you leave.
But we will go.
No, sitting will be much simpler than because if somebody comes, you park in front of your car.
What we are trying to say, we are not trying to disregard people's work in churches. No, but you see, there's a pattern. Because already this pattern, a lot of pastors are not even following it. So some people don't want to be paid at all.
Pastor, if the media guy, the guy doing the graphics and project that thing up there doesn't come, can you do that?
Oh, if Facebook Live manager doesn't come, I will preach. But if my keyboardist or my drummer doesn't come to church, or I mean, who sings and who plays? The church goes on.
On that note, I'll take your calls. On that note, I'll take your calls. The numbers will be on your screen: 050-143.
When did social media come to church?
050-143-2820. But before I take your calls, I want to take a short musical break, and when I come back, I'll take your calls. Then we'll continue this discussion.
I tried to change it.
The off-air discussion is okay, so you can call now 050-143-2820. I heard the calls had started coming when we were playing the music. So 050-143-2820. You can call now and share your views on this very important topic. I'm getting lots of WhatsApp messages, but let me take the call first. Yes, 050-143-2820. So, Ellis, if you are saying that it's their work, it's their skill, and professionally they should go into it. Hello, good evening. Your name and where you are calling from? Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Reduce the volume of your TV, please. Your name is?
Kojo.
Go ahead, Kojo. Go ahead.
My name is Kojo.
Go ahead, Kojo. Reduce the volume of your TV set, please. Okay. Kojo couldn't stay with us. So yeah. So should we?
Hello.
If it's hello. Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
My name is John. I'm calling from Cantonment.
Go ahead, my brother.
Hello.
Go ahead, my brother.
Good evening.
Please reduce the volume of your TV.
I'm calling from Cantonment.
Reduce the volume of your TV and go ahead with your comment.
Please, what the pastor is saying, if, please, I've reduced it.
Okay, go ahead.
If the pastor instrumental is not there, so we can use our mouth and sing and preach. So if you wanted to pay everybody, and if you don't want to pay the ushers, you can give them allowance because this will be work. Like how you are saying, the watchmen and this thing, they carry everything. We are not, me, I'm going to church. I'm a pastor, I don't pay my ushers.
But you pay your musicians.
About that, everybody is working.
But you pay your musicians.
If you wanted to pay the instrumental and everybody, if the instrumental is not there, we can do our church and go.
So we can clap our hands and go, eh?
We can clap our hands and sing and go. Normal players, they don't play music. These things they play music. They don't do their church and go.
Thank you very much.
We should stop the discrimination. If you wanted to do something, yes, we can clap. We can clap and sing.
Thank you very much, Pastor.
Can we ask him whether he pays this?
But do you pay your musicians? Pastor, do you pay your musicians?
They are contributing to the church and they are doing their job.
Hello, Pastor. Hello, Pastor.
Hello.
Do you pay your musicians?
Come again.
Do you pay your musicians?
My musicians, I don't pay them. I give them allowance. They are TNT.
You give them TNT every week?
I give them TNT.
Every week or at the end of the month?
No, I don't pay them at the end of the month. When they come out to this, I'll give them maybe 2020, but I don't pay.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Pastor. Give them 2020. That's from TNT. Okay, there's a comment. Packaging is very crucial in this issue. I'm a keyboardist in an Orthodox church, and that requires full knowledge in music before you can play in church and must appear presentable. Thank you very much. Next time. Yes, good evening. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
And my name is Kennedy.
Go ahead, Kennedy.
Please, what about the ones who have been raised by the church?
The musicians that have been raised by the church.
Or the instrumentalists whereby the church have been raised.
Okay, I'll ask my panel members for you. I'll ask them the other question for you.
Okay,
thank you. Ernest, what about those that the church raised?
Okay. How do they survive? So the person is a musician who is being raised by the church. He's completed his music school. He's playing for the church.
Yes.
How does he survive?
The church, that pay, that's what they've invested yearly.
No, so after the investment, what do I eat?
He will drive to church?
Yeah.
Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm doing calling from.
Go ahead.
If the musicians are not good, if they supposed to be good, and in the church, you look at it more like, when you have people like and start in your church, you don't think it. So with that, you guys may do it like that, understand? When you do this, I wish you guys.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes. So you're saying
you must survive.
So after you train
after you train me, if I'm going to play for the church full time and my value demands it, you must still pay me.
But I trained you.
Yes, but after the training, how do I survive? That's the only thing I do.
Look,
it's a different thing we can look at when it is your sole job.
Exactly. In the environment of the academia, the university kind of setup, we have situations where people are supported by the university to go and do their courses outside.
Hello. Good evening. Your name and where you are calling from, please.
My name is Kojo from Tema.
Kojo, go ahead.
Hello.
Kojo, go ahead.
Okay. I think I like the discussion going on.
Thank you.
But we have to think of the point of let's put it this way.
instrumentalists, are we really talking about instrumentalists, musicians, singers, or everything about the altar? Then we can have the right answer to what we are discussing about.
Today we are discussing instrumentalists or musicians, those who play. So the drummer, the bassist, the keyboardist, the lead guitarist. That's the people we are discussing.
Okay. So I just want to ask a question. What is the Bible saying about all these people?
Oh, we gave you scripture earlier on. The pastor will go through the scripture again.
No, there are lots in the Bible we can talk about. But what is God saying about instrumentalists? How the church should handle them? What is really the Bible telling us to do?
Okay, thank you very much. Pastor will go through that again. Yes, you're making an example of the university.
So like I was saying, that university takes care of people to do their masters and PhDs and stuff.
And when they come back,
they pay them. They pay for their staying outside Ghana. Pay for everything they do, full course program.
When they come back,
even when they are there, they are on payroll. They pay them. When they come back too, they get paid.
Yes.
Okay. So if you are taken care of by the church and you come back to do the service for the church,
you have to pay.
You have to
okay. Good evening, and your name and where you are calling from, please.
Good evening, Kujo, speaking from Manda.
Go ahead, Kujo.
The Bible says we should seek ye first the kingdom of God and its righteousness, and all others will be added unto us. And this means that we serve God with willingly or wholeheartedly. So whatever that you are doing, you don't expect that you are going to gain anything on this earth. We know that whatever that I will be getting will be up there for us. So when you are doing anything for the kingdom, we have to do it willingly without expecting anything in return of what we are doing. So I think it's not good to pay the musicians or the instrumentalists when they perform in our various churches. But in case they sing for us and they drum for us, for the Holy Ghost to work, come down and work.
The
pastor sees that
can flow.
They are doing well, and it touches the pastor's heart, and the pastor gives them something.
So the pastor will give them something.
Fine, but in a situation whereby we'll be demanding over here, that's when there is nothing that we will gain in heaven when we meet Jesus Christ.
Thank you very much.
So I think we have to
pay them, not pay them, like I say. Thank you very much. Ernest, he said don't pay them. Seek ye first the kingdom of God. And this righteousness or other.
Okay.
So don't pay them. That's what he said.
Even those you bond.
Yes.
Why do they bond you? They bond you for your stay.
Yes.
Not for salary. when they, like the example he gave, the universities, when you go and study abroad and the university takes care of your fees, your upkeep and all that, and you come back, you're only under bond for a period of time. So if you take care of somebody to go and study music and they come back, bond to them, but pay them.
Okay, good evening. Your name and where you are calling from?
I'm calling from Afanko to precise
Afanko Assemblies of God.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
All right. I think with what they ask about salaries for what do you call it, the instrumentalist.
Yes.
In the first place, before you become an instrumentalist in the kingdom of God, you need to be a Levite. In 2 Chronicles chapter 5, from verse 12, you need to be a Levite. Are they Levites? So, if the person is a Levite, the criteria before becoming a Levite is always how many Levites do we have? Today, instrumentalists. What kind of instrumentalists are we looking for today? Are we looking for God-oriented, divine-oriented instrumentalists, or just any other instrumentalist who just come and kill the spirit that is because we can't.
Please, are you the pastor for Assemblies of God of Anchor or the one
no,
of the?
I'm just contributing.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So we should be very careful of the kind of things we are using today. That is why we have pastors, because we just take anything at all in the church. We have to be very careful.
Thank you very much.
So you can read 1 Corinthians 35 from the 12 to 14.
Okay, we'll read that.
God bless you.
God bless you too.
God bless you.
God bless you.
But he makes a very good point.
Yes, he's making a very good point.
It's a point to the fact that are they Levites? And I support that one. Are they musicians?
Hello, good evening. Your name and where you are calling from. Let me pick the last call, then we'll wrap up in the. Hello, good evening. Your name and where you are calling from.
Hello.
Good evening.
My name is Anova.
Go ahead, sir.
But please, the instrumental is supposed to be paid.
Why?
Because they please, for them, some of them don't work. So they have to be paid for them to use that money to buy or to find their living necessities for living. Someone cannot play the guitar and then other things in the church school, whereby you saying God will bless you, God will do this, whereby you be at the house drink and he or she doesn't have anything to survive.
Thank you very much. Kwesi Wazumbi, I hear a sound engineer, says yes, they should pay them. If not, they shouldn't pay the pastors. Thank you very much. I'll pick any calls again. I'm wrapping up in the studios, and we'll end the show. Then we'll join the feed from Trade Fair, the NDC Congress. We'll follow up on the feed there. So, Pastor, your final comments. Next week we're going to discuss should musicians, those who follow the artists, should they also be paid? So next week I'm going to bring these two people again, and we pray Crusaders will come next week. Then we'll continue this discussion. Pastor, your final comments.
Yes. So I would say that if God is a God of perfection, a God who wants excellence, and today's church we are already there. We are in an era where we seek perfection in church. If you are a pastor, a leader of a church who seeks to have that excellent service in church, you should be considering paying your instrumentalists, because and that is to say, if they are truly musicians, truly well professional musicians, if they are not, and quote unquote, if they are, let's say, what NS will call instrumentalists, still I would advocate that you give them some form of love offering, at least, just like the other pastor is saying 2020. Every week, at least there should be some form of something to make them go and come to their service. And I think we should be also looking at people who are this is what I believe in. Let anyone that you employ in church, anyone who sits behind your instrument, make sure that the person is a Christian first.
Okay.
That's
the first point.
That's the first point. It's born again. I mean, not fake born again. It's a Christian, and follow the order of God.
Okay, thank you. That's Pastor Randolph. Before NS comes in, someone said, "Why should a church find it okay to pay its accountants and secretary? Yet have a problem paying musicians, especially when they lack the personnel." Thank you very much. Next time, add your name. I have another one here. Adrado says it depends on administration. There are different administrations. Personally, I'd rather not be paid for that. Okay, thank you very much, Adra. Norbert say I be everything for church go be free. Chris also says I remembered this topic appearing on the front page sometime this year. I used to be a bit naive in thinking instrumentalists should not be paid since they are working for God. I now know better. The truth is they should be paid. We have two types of instrumentalists, professional and non-professional. I am an instrumentalist in my church, but I'm not a professional instrumentalist, so I don't expect to be paid. But if someone is a professional instrumentalist, that's where they get their daily bread, so they should be paid. more so, we need to ask ourselves a question: is the pastor not getting paid? He's also doing God's work. So if the pastor is getting paid for working for God, why then shouldn't other church workers? Why then should other church workers do it for free? Thank you very much, Chris. Ernest, the final comment.
Okay. What I will tell everybody is this: everything is in the Bible, and we are Christians. Jesus Christ, when he came, he met so many people. He selected 12. Even in that,
yes,
there was a criteria.
Another one.
There.
They all brought on board values that he will benefit from.
Yeah.
So your value will determine your reward.
Your reward.
So it's not just about demand. It's about your value. So bring something to the table, and then we can speak.
You can speak.
So this statement of pastors must pay musicians. Yes, the pastors must pay who? Musicians. Make sure you are a musician. Okay. And the pastors will pay you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Ernest. Ernest is a renowned business. He plays for all the contemporary gospel guys. He started a contemporary movement with the late Daddy Nettie. He's played for Joe Mettle. He said the only contemporary artist has not played for the Circus and Paul. So thank you very much, Ernest, for coming. I pray you come next week. And thank you very much, Pastor Windorf. Pastor Windorf is a pastor and producer at Remnant Studios, Spintex. You can follow him on Windorf Usubempa on Facebook, and Ernest Shen on Facebook. Just look for their names on Facebook. You see them. My name is Nino. We'll come next week to continue this line of discussion. We'll have a different line of this discussion. Like I said, just follow GNTV. We'll give you up to speed on the NDC Congress. Good night.
Adia nyami waye Yahuwa utumi surprise me pa